Okay, in this final piece of this tutorial on our simple event, we're going to show you how to actually run the event, get the information out there, and get your payouts calculated, so forth. So once I have this event, I say I've closed the books, everything's closed up, I got my 2 signups over here. I can click this event and go to Run Event. Now, when I'm at the Run Event screen, I have a lot of options here. So once I get over here, the first thing I want to do is I want to print my announcers list. Now this report is basically our go-to report. This is what you want to use, print out in case your computer goes down in the middle of the event. I mean, sometimes it happens. Computers, sometimes they just go out. And you also want to have this printed out for your announcer so they can actually be, as they're calling out the events, calling out the times, they can be writing the times down next to them. So if it does go, you do have to get your computer back up and going, or your computer gets behind. Your event can keep going forward, and then you can come back and you can get the computer caught up. So that's the announcers list. If you wanted to print out a report to post, you can do your alphabetical run list, and basically that will give you an alphabetical run list of all the people, their horses, where they're running, so forth. Alright, so once we're here, what you've got is you've got this person right here is going to be up next. This is your next person in line. From here, if I simply just say this was a clean run, I can actually enter what they ran, hit calculate result, then save run. And what that's going to do is that's going to move them over here as completed. Now over here you have some options. You can sort them by the alpha, so you can actually search for the people. You can sort runs descending order, so then the last person that you enter will be at the top. This is pretty a good feature, so then when you're entering times you can actually verify that last person that everything went in right. A lot of people will sometimes forget to hit this calculated result, and when you do that, then it'll actually put them in as a 0. To demonstrate that, say if I hit 16598, I don't hit calculate and I hit save result. If you see here, this last person came in without a final time, and it puts them immediately in the first place position. Well, we don't want that, so we basically hit edit. I can hit calculate result over here, and you see that's very high. Calculate, my green controls, I hit save, and now they're over here. Now let's say I want to put in another person real quick. I can jump out of there on a drag, hit edit signups, come back over here, search for my person, and let's just say I want to add this last horse. Can auto draw them. They're here. I'm going to process remaining entries, which is going to squish them up and put them over to here. Come back to run event, and now I have another person here. So let's say this person running on this horse, let's say they had a penalty. I can hit plus penalty, calculate result, save run. And what that's going to do is, as you see over here, if I sort descending runs, here's this last person. It no times them. It gives them final time, so it'll give them a text message of what they actually had. Now let's say I want to undo this. I can actually come over here, edit, the screen goes red. Let's say I want to undo those penalties. Undo it. I can take off the no time, calculate, save, and now they're in their correct position. Let's say that this person had a scratch. Well, they didn't have anything here, so if I wanted to scratch them, we got multiple options on the scratch. I want to set the scratch, okay. This tells me if the page status is true or false, whether or not I clicked it. Again, that goes back to if you're using that feature is for your own tracking. Is this entry fee being refunded? There's yes or no. If it's being refunded, what the system's going to do is it's going to pull their entry fee out of the payout and not use them for payout. If they scratched and you're not refunding the entry fee, then you can simply say no, and it'll leave them in for the payout. So let's say it's being refunded, we're going to say no. Let's say that was an accident. I can simply come back over here, undo that scratch, calculate result, save, and now they're back over here in clean standing. I can use the no time feature, any of that. Roll run, you really don't want to use roll run in a barrel race. This is more designed for your play day type events. Now let's say if I want to look at the reports, my event results, and so here's our event results. It'll actually display it just like it's displayed over here. Now I don't have any amounts on here. Let's say I want to put some of my payout on here. I can do generate my payouts, Payouts are applied. Come back to my event results. And now I've got my payouts applied here. And yes, it's like, oh, well, they're the same. Well, yeah, because technically when I typed them in the same. But let's say this was a mistake. We're going to jump back over here. Now it's changed. Actually, let's do something a little bit different here. Let's put them in the 17. So there we go. I've got one in the 1D, one in the 2D, and one in the 4D. I can regenerate my payouts. Go back to my event results. Pull that back over, and now all the payouts broken out. Let's say my event's not done yet. I can actually go to my reports and I can do what we call the producer's report, which will tell me what I made, kind of the entry fees, where everything was taken and collected. I can also do this on the payback estimate here. Basically, it's going to tell me based on how many entries I have and what we're looking at, the added monies, and what our paybacks are gonna be if it paid back in all the spots. But we didn't pay back a 3D spot, so that money got distributed evenly across the other classifications. Let's say if I wanted to generate a report and I want to do it based on a projection of say 300 runners off this payout, I can actually do 300, and it will break this payout out to what it should pay based on the projection of how many racers I wanted to do. So you can use this kind of before your race starts to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. Now, if I want to get this information back out into the world, I want everything to know, then basically what I'll do if I want to get the payouts on the website, I simply come back to this, hit web sync data. Payouts do not go out automatically. We have to do a web sync to get the payouts out there. We want to make sure that they are right. And now basically on my report, on my event, everything's already there, showing what's going on. Here's my results. The money's added. I can see the full results here. There's no still to runs, no pre-draws, no online entries in here. And you can kind of see what's going on there. It tells you what your total payout was. Now let's go into a couple of the other features on the Run Event page. Alright, so let's say, you know, a big one that we get is, let's say, oh, well, wasn't right. They came in, you know, you don't want to get into doing a lot of this because it just adds confusion to your piece. But let's say on run number 2 here, it was actually my horse that ran and not horse 2. Well, you can simply come to System, Edit Run List, and basically I can go to run 2. And here's this horse. Now let's say this was a different person. I can change the person. I can change that person to run on. So I'm going to change this to, let's just say that this one right here, run 2 was actually Robin who ran, and she ran on pistol. So I can change the rider, and then to that rider and their horse, hit save, and now it's changed the correct rider and horse. Now when you do that, the website, when those pieces start getting into play, it doesn't update those real time. It tries not to, in case you did that on accident, it tries not to push it. So if you're doing something like that, the simplest way is clear my event data and then re-push it back out. What it do, it'll strip everything off the website and put it back out there real quick, gets everything back in line, and now you can see Robin's on number 2. Alright, some other features that we have on the Run event is we have manual classifications. Let's say we change this from my BBR 4D to a 5D after the race event. We can go change it to a 5D, come back, hit manual classifications, and it'll reclassify everything. Under displays, it's kind of a neat feature. You can go to the leaderboard, and the leaderboard will actually give you who's all leading each Ds, who's coming up next, average results if you've got averages. This is more designed for your announcer so they can pop over here in a big drag, and start calling out some information, let everybody know what's going on. So you're spitting out the same information that's sitting on the website. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's how you run an event. For those of you running your timer systems, when you run your timer system, you can click over here on the timer. Basically, it's going to give you options. FarmTech, Thunderpulse when your cable's plugged in, then you can hit COM port, choose your COM port, hit connect, and then once you have that connected, it will actually read into the system. The screen goes green to say something's come in. If you have somebody who's dragging and they're breaking the beam as it's running, don't worry about that. The time does not actually save until you hit save. Alright, any questions, let us know.